Howdy folks and good evening. This is BelGeode. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator, and this is a test, otherwise known as a chill vid. Yay! And as we get closer to my birthday, this video should go live on Monday, November the 13th, which is 5 days before my birthday on the 18th. I wanted to get back into a bird that I was more familiar with. And of course, couple that with airstrips that I'm definitely not familiar with. So we'll start with the bird. What you're looking at, of course, is no stranger to this channel. I've featured it a few times. It is the Carenado version of Cessna's C337 Skymaster, my absolute favorite GA aircraft. And like I said, I wanted something that I was very familiar with. I've got a lot of virtual hours in this plane, so I kind of know it inside out, which is good because I'm not so confident about where we are. Now, where we are is in Idaho. This is the recently released Orbx Not So Deadly 3 airstrip pack for Idaho. And let me just tell you right now, I feel like this is false advertising because this definitely looks like it is going to be a challenge. Probably even more so using this aircraft, because this aircraft is not a STOL aircraft. It is not a short takeoff or landing aircraft. Yeah, this could end really badly. And as always, you know I don't edit these things either, so yeah, about that. But before we go any further, I do want to give a huge, massive shout out to Carenado for doing this. You see that, right? Typically, Carenado has their own pilots, but I've been begging since Carenado started making aircraft for Microsoft Flight Simulator for them to use the Asobo pilots, and they've done it. This is all I wanted, and it is glorious. Thank you so much, Carenado, for updating this bird and adding the Asobo pilots. That makes a huge difference. Now, if only I can get you to have Cara show up inside the cockpit while I'm sitting there in VR. That would be great, too. But we'll take baby steps, so we're okay with that. But anyway, let's check out the scenery, because there are 3 airports that we're going to be visiting. We are at the first one, which I believe is called Marble Creek. Hold on, I need to take up my headset here. Yes, we are at ID8, which ironically should be flashing on your screen right now. And that is Marble Creek, the first of 3. They claim you can land and take off in both directions, but you see those trees over there? I am not convinced. But one thing I do like, look at this. So we got a Super Cub sitting here in somebody's tent, and right on top of the cowling here, we got a little crow. He's just chilling. He's like, yeah, I'm here to watch you try and take off. I've been doing this stuff for years. I want to see how you pull it off, buddy. Good luck. And there's somebody's campfire. And look at that. There's salmon jumping. Hold on, I'm going to turn the camera around here. And we've even got Mr. Ed. Mr. Ed paid us a visit. Look at that. He's just chilling by the water, contemplating his life. See, this, folks, is why I am happy to be in VR. Look at this. You got the little ducks going. You've got the salmon. You've got Mr. Ed behind me. This is just perfect. Like, I know it's a flight sim, right? But I would literally sit in scenery like this in VR and just, for example, watch the sunset. It is that good. And I gotta give huge kudos to Orbx for continuing the tradition of making scenery that feels like you want to live in it. Absolutely awesome. Whoever they have making sceneries, you know, they're doing the Lord's work right there, because this is just some good stuff. This is amazing. And all 3 of the airports are like this. There's not a whole heck of a lot here, so you're not going to find like a bunch of facilities for your aircraft, you're basically just going to find bush strips like this. You can see there's even a little plane over there. But that's not the real beauty of it. The real beauty of it is getting out in nature. And you can hear the sounds too. You hear that crow cawing? That's just awesome. That's just amazing. So yeah, when Orbx said that they had a promotion campaign going for this one, I was like, yeah, sign me up. Sign me up. I got to figure out which aircraft I'm going to use, but sign me up. And this is it. We're going to use a Skymaster. So, by the way, huge thank you for Orbx for the preview/review copy of this scenery package. I'd greatly appreciate it. I love stuff like this, doing the bush flying and stuff like that. You can keep your big airports and your Gate 3 and all of that kind of stuff. No, give me this stuff. This is the stuff that I like. All right, but with that having been said, we're going to bypass my usual thing where we go through the various camera angles, because I've shown this aircraft a number of times, so you should know what a camera angles are by now. But I will switch it to the BelGeode landing cam. So let's just change that real quick. There we go. And we'll hop in the cockpit. Okay. Oh, it feels so good to be home. Aside from the F-14 Tomcat, this is home. This is very much home for me, and I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, let's close the door and see if we can get this puppy started, because the real test is going to be whether or not I can take off without hitting Bambi over there. That could very well end our video real quick. So, battery and alternators on. We'll go ahead and get our nav lights on, as well as our beacon. All right, and I think, okay, prop pitch is full, mixture is 0, but look at our altitude. We are at 4,660 feet above sea level. You know what that means? That means we're going to need to lean our mixture before we even think of doing anything else with this bird. So that's going to be fun. But I'm going to put it full rich for the engine start. And as always with this bird, you start the back engine first. We are going to need some fuel, so let me crack the throttle a little here. And we'll go ahead and get the fuel pumps on for a few seconds. We'll pull the throttle all the way up and back down to idle. Okay, there we go. Everything's back off. Perfect. Okay, so now we are ready for an engine start. Wish me luck. All right, let's start with the rear engine first. So mags, left, right, both clear. Okay, we got activity on the right side of that engine gauge there. So yeah, we're good to go. Let's get the front one started. Clear. Nice. Nice. Okay, and it's going to get a little loud, so we'll close the window here. And while we're at it, we'll get our avionics master switch on, so that way our GPS can warm up. I will remind you, this is a weather radar. I'm pretty sure we are not going to need it today, because as you can see, it looks pretty clear. So that's not going to be a factor. All right, so let me get some RPMs going. I want to be about 1,000 RPM, but we're also going to start pulling that mixture back. You can see our RPMs already rising. I want it to its peak, basically. So right about there, we're going to pull it back. There we go. All right, so now we should be good to warm up the engine. And while we wait for that to happen, let's go ahead and set up our GPS really quick here. Okay, give it a few seconds to do its thing. No radios needed out here. As you can see, we're in the middle of nowhere. There is no tower. But we do have a GPS flight plan, and we are currently set to GPS as opposed to VLOC. So we should be good to go there. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to set our flaps because this is a hellaciously short airstrip. I have no confidence that I'm going to be able to get this thing off in time. We're going to try, but it's going to be tricky. And I've even lightened us up on gas. If you notice, we have a half tank for fuel. But yeah, that is no guarantee that we're going to make this thing. All right, let's go menu. And I don't want to set up the map. I want my data fields on. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. All right, what's the message that we have here? Set course to 353. Okay, I can do that. 330. Okay, so clearly we want it back this way. 353. Now, just so you're aware, we're going to need to take off to the south, so towards the sun, basically, because it's kind of at an angle here. It's kind of southwest, more like. The reason why, I am not too confident that I'm going to be able to get over those trees, but I might be able to get over those trees. There is a hill right behind that, though. And I don't know if Bambi's going to stand there and stare at us as we're taking off. He might just run. But yeah, that could get really interesting. Not gonna lie, folks, that could get really interesting. All right, let's go ahead and get our strobe lights on, as well as our landing lights. Might as well, because if we're gonna end up a flaming wreck, we might as well have everything on, right? And we'll get our pitot heat going. Now the cowl flaps should be open already, so we don't have to worry about that. I will want to trim, however, so let me just set us up for takeoff trim here. And what I'll do is when we start to take off, I'll kind of push the yoke forward to keep the nose wheel on the ground, try and build up enough speed. But this is definitely going to be one of those takeoffs where we're going to need to hold down the brakes and throttle up all the way. So, if you're ready, I'm ready. Parking brakes off. Remind me to pull the flaps down in a moment. I do appreciate the fact that the actual runway is shorter grass and a lighter color, so that definitely helps. Especially with someone like me who could just as easily land in those shrubs over there. But yeah, I do appreciate this. I'm gonna go ahead and get the flaps down now. So flaps 1. Do I really want to go flaps 2? I might want to go flaps 2. We'll see how that works. Might not work. Might not work at all. But with 50% gas, I think we can pull this off. Maybe. Alright, let's see if we can turn around first. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Try not to clip this guy's aircraft here. We are a high wing, but those props do look a little tall. Am I going to clip you? No, barely missed. Okay, perfect for me. Alright. We're going to go in a thicket here. Try to get as much distance as possible. Yeah, about that. Right there's good. Okay. You see what we've got to work with here, folks? Yeah. Let's go to the outside view before we actually commit to this. Now would be a great time, if you're religious, to start praying for me. If you're not religious, I don't know, maybe do some kind of ritual or something. I'm going to need all the help I can get on this one. Whew. All right, I hope you're ready, folks, because yeah, I'm ready. I sound really confident about this, don't I? Okay, here goes nothing. So we got flaps 2, we got our mixture pretty much set, RPMs are on full, and we're going to take the parking brakes off and go brakes down, throttles up. We're going to need full power on this one. We're going to wait till everything stabilizes before we get going. Max power. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. Brakes off. Come on, give me that airspeed. Give me that precious airspeed. 40 knots. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. 50 knots. 60 knots. Oh boy. Yay! Woo! We might have trimmed the top of that tree, but we're airborne. Holy crap. Wow. How are my wings looking? Do I still have wings? I barely have wings. Okay. I'm fine with that. That works. Whew. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna need a new pair of pants after that one. All right, let's go to the outside view and we'll get our gear up as well as our flaps, because yeah, that would be a good thing to do right about now. Wow. Not even gonna lie, folks, that was rough. If we would have tried that in real life, it probably would have ended badly. So already, the not-so-deadly 3 more than likely would have claimed my life. So yeah, there is that. All right, but as you can see, we're heading in the wrong direction. So we're gonna need to completely turn ourselves around, do a 180 here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling my throttle back. And we'll also pull back our prop pitch, so that way we can at least get it into the green before these engines decide to blow up. We'll set it around 2,500 RPM. That should be fine. And what I will do, hopefully there's no mountain on the opposite side here, we'll kind of go around this mountain here and we'll just turn around and head back the other direction. So that's the plan, man. Landing lights off. And you know what? I'm thinking I should have had the fuel pumps on for this. Yeah, we're gonna leave the fuel pumps on because something tells me that'll come in real handy. Whew. Okay, that was rough. That was definitely one of the shakier takeoffs that I have ever done on this channel. And I've done quite a few shaky takeoffs. But we're airborne. I'm feeling good about it. Still says our wings are intact, so okay. The trees at the airport are now roughly a foot shorter, but that's okay too. At least the prop is intact. More worried about the propeller than I am the trees. But yeah, feeling good. Feeling good. Alright, now we are at 7,300, climbing to 7,400, and we are going to head back towards our little airport here. And I'm thinking we'll bring it up to about 8,000 and then we'll see what the landscape looks like around this area here. So I'm going to trim us down just a touch here because we are climbing an awful lot. There we go. Right about there is what I'm looking for. So yeah, that is perfection right there. Welcome to Idaho's back country. This is just nuts. I can't believe people would actually live here. Camping, okay, I get that. Yeah, I would probably camp here. Just me and Yogi drinking beer by the river. But living here? No. How about no? No matter how much of an introvert and a hermit I am, yeah, no. There's just certain things I won't do. But all the same, though, looks great. All right, I'm going to swing out a little to the right so that way we can take a look at the airport that we just narrowly escaped from. And I mean narrowly. I'm pretty sure some of you are probably in the comments right now like, dude, you need to redo that. That was the worst takeoff I've ever seen on this channel. Yeah, I own that. But I'm also not redoing it. This is it. This is what you get. They built it as a not-so-deadly 3, and I wanted to prove that they were not lying. That was almost deadly. But there it is. That's the airstrip that we just took off from. Wow. Can you imagine trying to land on that? Especially in this? Oh, hell no. Absolutely not. Alright, we're closing in on 9,000 feet, and I dare not break 9,000 unless I have to get around a mountain or so. So we're going to trim ourselves back down. I'm not using autopilot on this one at all. I'm just trying to get her in the proper attitude so that way we can just fly straight. That's all I want. Thankfully, there's not a whole heck of a lot of clouds right now. Can you imagine trying to do this in fog? Huh! Yeah, my happy butt will be back on that porch with Yogi drinking the beer. That's pretty much the theme for this one here. Drinking beer with Yogi the beer. I know, I just pronounced all of that wrong. That was intentional. But yeah, it feels good to actually fly in Microsoft Flight Simulator again, and a lot of that is due in part to the Radeon 7900 XT. And I do know that I could have gotten the XTX version, but honestly, logistically, it wasn't going to work out for me because a lot of the XTXs that I was seeing for sale, even though they were at the top end of my budget price range, they were also way beyond the physical limitations that I had for this case. So I'll tell you the story really quick about how I was able to put this graphics card in there. Hopefully I'll remember to flash the pictures up as well too. So the case that I had built was originally built for like an NVIDIA card. I don't remember what I had back then. It might have been a 1080 or something like that. And of course I upgraded from that, swapped over to the Radeon RX 480, and no problem, it fit everything perfectly. And then of course the Radeon 7 is a little beefier card, but it fit in there perfectly. So I get this monstrosity from UPS or FedEx, whoever it was that actually delivered it, and this thing is just massive. It is like 1/3 times bigger than the Radeon 7 that it's supposed to replace. So I'm like, huh, okay, well, the connections line up. The back part of it where you connect it to the case lines up, and the plugs line up. So where am I running into the issue here? It's a little bit thicker than the Radeon 7, but where am I going to have a problem? Well, come to find out, the problem was in the length of it. It's literally too long for the case as the case was built, because in the front part of my case, you're going to see right now a little picture of it, there is the hard drive mounting. So it's supposed to mount several different hard drives in there, and I've already got like 4 or 5 hard drives in this thing. Technically 2 hard drives and about 4 solid state drives, SSDs, and 1 external SSD drive in there. So I've got all of that stuff attached to this computer, and I go to put the graphics card in there, and it's like, Bueller, we got a problem here. There is physically no real estate to push this card in. So what did I do? I did what any enterprising young flight sim VR dude would do. I grabbed the hacksaw and started hacking off a piece of it, which of course I'll have that picture up right now. But yeah, that's how I was able to get this graphics card in there. Now, it doesn't actually remove the structural integrity of where I have the hard drives placed, and I'm not planning on adding any more hard drives. I may swap them out for SSDs eventually, but until that time comes, we're basically in a situation where I can afford to sacrifice the real estate that I just did. And it fits. That's the beautiful part about it. It fits, it works. I'm flying with it right now. You can see the end result on YouTube. So yeah, all of that work was worth it. But make no bones about it, folks, it is work. And I tell you that story to tell you this. If you are planning on upgrading your PC, whether you're planning on, going the route of AMD or NVIDIA with a 4090 and stuff like that, make sure you check the measurements before you do anything else, before you hit that buy button. Check your measurements. Make sure the dang thing will even fit before you actually purchase it. Alright, that is story time for today. Let's go to the outside view and check out the wonderful scenery. Okay, so we're closing in on about 9,000 feet, which I think is a little too high for what I'm looking for here. So I'm going to actually pull the throttle back, at least until it starts beeping. There we go. Because we need to start looking out for our next airport, which is 4.2 nautical miles away. I want to say it's directly ahead of us because we're like right on a magenta line. Okay. So what do we have here? We have a river. Okay, so we know it's past the river. Wait. It's not that, is it? Oh boy. You see that? Look in the valley. There is a diagonal line. Let me grab the mouse here. I'll see if I can point it out. Starting from there to there. You see that, right? I think that's our airstrip. That is India 08. So what is that? That is Cabin Creek. Yeah, you want me to land there? Are you kidding me? Oh boy. Okay, well let's survey our real estate here and we'll figure out how we're going to pull this off. In the meantime, I'm going to pull our prop pitch back a fair amount. We'll pull it back to about 2200 RPM. We'll start losing some airspeed and start descending. Okay, so what do we have here? We've got a bunch of sandbars down there, so we could potentially use that as a landmark. We've got a road coming up and a tree line. And that's our airport. I can see the plane now. Okay, let me turn around the other way here. This looks like one of those one-way in, one-way out type deals. Yeah, whenever you see a little golf club ending there, that's pretty much a guarantee that there's only one way in, one way out, and the golf club part is parking. Oh, this is going to be fun. But now, how are we going to pull off the approach? Because there's a mountain there, which means we're going to need to either make a left turn or a right turn. And we're a bit high up right now, so hold on. I got a plan. You see the river on the GPS, right? What if we go down the river a piece, come down to our approach altitude, and then make sure we take that turn to come up the little valley to the airport? I mean, we already have that landmark right there with the sandbars, so we could potentially use that. That might work. Of course, it could also end really badly, but that's okay. That's why you tune into this channel, right? You want to see when I mess up. I can't guarantee I'll be able to pull this off. I'm trying to use as much logic and deduction here to try and figure out how to come into this, but I'm not going to lie. I have the distinct feeling that the reason why Orbx told me to, check this thing out is because they're trying to kill me. Orbx is trying to kill me. I'm just kidding. But seriously, Orbx, really? And this is considered not so deadly? You know that this, the developer who makes it also has a deadly version, which is even worse than this. Yeah. This is gonna get real interesting. Alright, well, we might have to go into fighter pilot mode here and treat this Cessna like it's a Tomcat. I'm just saying. Alright, as long as I don't slam into that mountain, I think I figured it out. So we got the river there. If we can come down that bridge into the river and use that as our approach, I might be able to get down low enough so that we can hang a right and pull in to that airstrip. Okay, that's where we're going to go with here. So we're at 7,000 feet, and I'm going to start bringing us down really quick. We have slowed down considerably, but we're still not slow enough for me to drop the flaps, so I'm trying to influence that here. Because once the flaps go down, then my little beep 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 should go away. You hear the beep beep beep. Now I will remember to put the prop pitch back up, but that's not going to happen just yet, because I want to lose airspeed and altitude. I will, however, turn on the landing lights, so let's go ahead and get that done. And we are slowly but surely starting to lose daylight, so that's another concern. Alright, there is apparently an airstrip there that is not a part of this Orbx thing. So, alright, let's go ahead and get flaps 1. Okay, that'll definitely bleed off that airspeed. We're going to get our gear down while we're at it. And it's time to pull a Tom Cruise. Okay, well that was not as bad as I thought it would be. And we are at 5,400 feet, so I'm going to start trimming us back up here. Get that airspeed down. So you see that blue line on my airspeed indicator? That's pretty much what I'm shooting for right there. That's my approach speed. So that's what, about 90-ish knots. So once we get there, we're good to go. We'll stabilize at about 5,000 feet. So I'm putting the throttle back in, and we'll go ahead and get our prop pitch back up. We're leaving the mixture as is. But yeah, there we go. All right, now, where is my sandbar? That's the real question. Okay, it's got to be coming up, so I'm thinking that's it directly ahead. Let me just take a quick look from the BelGeode landing cam. Okay, yeah, that is definitely our sandbar, so we're going to need to make a right-hand turn here, and I'm going to watch my airspeed. We're still coming down. We're below 5,000 feet. We're going to need to make a hard right. Hard right. Okay, we're at the optimal airspeed. The question is, are we at the optimal altitude? And that I'm not so sure of. I do know we need to follow this road in, however. So there is that. And holy crap, are you kidding me? This thing's on a slope? Orbx, why are you trying to kill me? Okay, yeah, let's drop some more flaps, why don't we? Flaps too, why not? Alright, I need more airspeed here, because I'm feeling like I'm going to drop like a rock here in a minute. Wow. Wow. Okay, here we go. Wish me luck. Throttle to idle, flare, and we're down. We're skidding all over the place because this dirt does not like these wheels. I'm going to give it a little bit of brake here. Even though we're going uphill, we should be good. We should be good. Holy crap. Woo! I dare say that was easier than our takeoff. That is nuts, though. Alright, I'm going to put it back to flaps 1. We're going to keep it on flaps 1, because I don't think we're going to need any more than that for takeoff. I will, however, turn around. Wow. Okay. Right here is good. We're going to put the parking brakes on. And we're going to open our door and we'll go back to the outside view and check out this scenery. Cabin Creek. Hey look, it's another Bambi. Kara's probably like, listen, you've taken me on some crazy ass adventures throughout the years, but this one takes a cake, buddy. As soon as we make it back to civilization, I am leaving you. I'm pretty sure that's what she's saying right now. Alright, so here we have Cabin Creek. And we got another Piper Super Cub. You know, I almost thought about taking the Kit Fox, because I haven't really shown the Kit Fox on this channel, but I'm having an issue with its textures, and I'm probably going to need to update it at some point in time before I can show it. Hey, buddy! Listen, hey! Hey! Sir. Hi. I don't suppose you got a beard, do you? Because I think I need one after that landing. Also, if you happen to have like an extra pair of underwear, I could probably use one of those too. What do you got there? Oh, nice. Steak and eggs. Very nice. Dang. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to leave you be, buddy. You've got a blue jay on your tent, by the way. He's staring at you with murderous intent, so you may want to do something about that. Okay? Okay. Have a nice afternoon, sir. That is so awesome. See, this is what I like. I love it when Orbx thinks of these little things in there that just makes the scenery come alive. We need more animated people and so on and so forth. I know this is not supposed to be like a ground simulator or anything like that, but I think the technology is there now that we can start giving people AI pathing and so on and so forth to really make the scenes come alive. But with that having been said, I thoroughly enjoy what I've seen so far. And there's Bambi again, here to wish us good luck, no doubt. I'm going to go with that, because if I don't go with that, I'm probably not going to have the confidence to take off. All right, camera is set. And let's go back in the cockpit. And we can go ahead and close the door. So I hope you enjoyed stretching your legs there, folks, because we are going to hop back in and head out. And oh crap, you know what? I didn't even have my transponder on. What if we would have crashed? All right, we'll set our transponder to Alt. Should be good to go. Okay, so we got flaps on 1. How are we doing on gas? Plenty of gas. I probably could have done this trip with like 30% gas and made that takeoff a little easier. But it is what it is. Fuel pump is on. Lights are all on. Bird is trimmed up. Mixture is where I want it. Prop pitch is full. Okay, you know what it's time for, folks. Round 2. Brakes down. Throttles up. And this is going to be interesting because I got a dog leg to the left before I start going downhill. I'm going to wait until the dog leg before I give it full power. Okay, full power. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Picking up speed real quick. Okay, 70 knots. That's what I'm looking for. And let's get out of the way of this tree. Woo, baby. All right, we got a good climb rate here, 1500. We're going to pull the prop pitch back a bit. I don't want to burn up the engines. So back to roughly about 2,500 feet per minute. And so far the score is BelGeode 2, Orbx none. If you were trying to kill me, Orbx, it has not worked yet. Yet. There's still plenty of time. Alright, let's get those landing lights off while we're at it. I think the difference was having the fuel pumps on. I think that really helped with our takeoff here. We probably should have had the fuel pumps on, and that first takeoff might have given us that extra go-go juice that we needed. But hey, we did them a favor. We trimmed their Christmas trees for them. Only by a foot. We're good. Alright, prop pitch is looking good. Mixture is looking fine. It is actually a little bit high, so we can't afford to lean it somewhat. There we go, right about there should be good. And we'll start heading towards our destination. So we are just south of it. We're going to continue heading north, and we might swing out a little to the left here. We're closing in on 7,000 feet, so I'm going to bump the trim down just a touch here. I do see that mountain up ahead that appears to be at about 8,000 feet, but I think we should be good. Let's see what we got on the message here. Set course to 290. Okay, can do. 290. There we go. We'll set our heading bug too while we're at it. And I actually do have buttons for this on the Virpil, but I like using the mouse because it actually tells me how many degrees we've got. If I use the Virpil, I have to basically approximate it. Alright, let's pull this throttle back a bit. There we go, looking good. So we got 19 inches of mercury on the manifold pressure. We got about 2,500 RPM, and I'm actually going to pull that back even further. So there we go, between 2,400 and 2,500. Should be good. We're still climbing. We're almost at 8,000. We are going to need to make a left turn here, so let's go ahead and do that now. And this is awesome. This is really awesome. I greatly appreciate companies like Orbx that put stuff in places like this. Even though it's an absolute pain in the butt to fly to, it's the challenge of it that really makes it fun. And for those of you who are longtime viewers of the channel, I've already told a story about how I used to run a virtual airline, a VA. If you're interested, it's US Airways Virtual, or USA VA, which is now American Virtual Airlines. And while I did enjoy that, it became work really quick running the VA, because you were in charge of people, you were making sure people were filing their PIREPs, doing their flights, all of that good jazz, keeping track of the virtual logistics to keep the FSX and the FS9 fleet going. It was nuts. It was fun at first when I was just a pilot, but when they handed me the reins of CEO of the dang thing, that became an issue. And if any one thing is a major contributor as to why you never see commercial airliners on this channel, it's that experience. While I would never trade the experience for the world, I enjoyed the people that I was working with, and more importantly, I enjoy seeing those people now, because a lot of them were kids, remember, and they've all grown up, and a lot of them have actually gone into the aviation industry. Some of them are pilots for major airlines around the world. Others are military pilots, Air Force pilots and whatnot. Some even do both. So that aspect of the VA experience was most definitely worth it, and I would highly recommend it to anyone. But from the standpoint of the joy of doing flight simming, it burnt me out. It burnt me out on every single airliner type. Boeing, Airbus, I don't care what it is. I won't fly it. That's why you'll never see them on this channel. It's not that I hate airliners or, you know, I can't fly airliners. I know a lot about airliners. I won't show them because I'm just that burnt out with them. I have no need to showcase any new airliners or whatever that's coming out. But I'm fully aware of what PMDG can do, and I'm definitely fully aware in the X-plane front of, you know, the Zibo 737 and stuff like that. I keep tabs on that stuff because it is still stuff that interests me. It's just not stuff that I'm passionate about anymore. This kind of stuff, however, the warbirds, the fighter jets, the helicopters especially, this is where I have my fun. And it's also part of the major reason why you are not seeing a ton of videos back to back to back regarding any of the flight simulators, DCS, X-plane, Microsoft Flight Simulator, because I don't want to end up in the same position with this that I was with the VA. I don't want to burn myself out so badly that I just literally don't want to touch a virtual plane ever again. This is supposed to be my joy. This is supposed to be my relaxation, and I'm hoping that it's also yours. So yeah, that's the beauty of it. That is the beauty of it. Don't treat it like work. Once it starts to become work, it will eat your soul, just like work does. And believe me, I see this a lot, which is why this subject keeps coming up a lot in my videos. I'm just trying to reach out to you all, just to let you understand it is not worth it to kill yourself for anything, even if it is something that you enjoy, because that can very easily turn against you. All right, Now I'm really off my soapbox this time. Let's go look at some pretty scenery. We'll go outside. Alright, so it looks like we went a little bit off course, but then that is expected to happen because I am not using the autopilot. Normally I do like using the autopilot in this bird, but we're bush flying like this where I've got to eyeball the airstrip and figure out how in the heck we're even going to land there. Yeah, I don't mind just keeping the autopilot off and keeping it under manual control. But of course the problem comes in when it comes time for us to actually try to do outside camera views with the drone camera, because of course, as you know, when you do drone camera, typically what happens is it turns your flight controls off. So all of a sudden you're in a situation where you're outside the bird having all these pretty camera shots and no way to control the plane. So that's typically when I would use autopilot for that. Just a little tips and tricks there if you do your own video recording and so on and so forth. There is a way you can activate controls in drone cam, but it's kind of cumbersome unless you actually bind it to one of your buttons on your throttle and stick or your yoke. And honestly, since buttons are a prime commodity on flight controls, physical flight controls, I wouldn't suggest wasting one on it. Just bear in mind, if you're gonna go into like the drone camera, put your aircraft on autopilot first, assuming it even has an autopilot. You may notice whenever I do helicopters, I never go into the drone cam unless we're on the ground. Now you know why. But look at this. Got a little plateau here. This is not bad. Okay, you know, I would consider living here. If you give me like all of that acreage there, I could probably make a bush strip out of that somehow. And yeah, it'd be just me and Yogi living here happy ever after, drinking beer. Don't ask me to land on it though. I'd have to have a helicopter if I were doing that. Alright, so we're closing in on our destination. We are 5.8 nautical miles out. So I'm thinking it is about time for us to start bringing this bird in. So I'm going to pull the throttle back here. Wait till the beep. There's the beep. And we're also going to pull the prop pitch back because that'll help us lose a bit of airspeed as well. So back down to about 2200. Actually, you know what? I'll go a little further. Yeah, 2000 RPM. I have to remember to put that back up when it comes time to actually land. But that'll give us a good rate of descent. You can see we're at about 800 feet per minute. And I'm going to start curving us through here. And first things first, we're going to need to see if we can actually find the airstrip. And then we can investigate how we're actually going to come down to it. But we're at 8,000 feet, so we're not going to see a whole heck of a lot up here. So let's go to the outside view while we follow this valley here. Alright, GPS says it is off to my left about 10 o'clock. Holy crap, is that it? Oh boy, it's another one with the golf club on the end there. So yeah, I'm thinking one way in, one way out. Looks like we're going to land north to south. It's right off the river with a hard dog leg to the right. And what's this airport? This is C-48, which is Wilson Bar. So the third and final airport in the Orbx Not So Deadly 3 Idaho Airstrip Pack, Wilson Bar. Which would probably be even better if I were greeted by Wilson Phillips on landing, but I couldn't get that lucky. Some of you are probably scratching your head like, who the hell is Wilson Phillips? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just Google it afterwards. Alright. I have a plan. I have a plan. You see that river, right? We're going to do the same thing that we did the last time. We're going to follow the river on the way in. I just need to survey my surroundings and figure out the best possible way that we can do a turnaround here without slamming into mountains trying to follow the river approach. And if you're wondering how I'm coming up with this, of course I'm using logic, deduction, all of that good stuff. But one of the approaches that I really enjoyed doing in the virtual airline, in US Air Virtual, was the river approach. And if you know anything about Washington DC, Potomac River, and DCA, which used to be called Reagan International Airport, the river approach is probably one of the most crucial approaches coming into Washington, D.C. You literally have to stay over the Potomac River for the entire time. You cannot veer off, otherwise it's going to put you close to the White House and the monuments and so on and so forth. And then in this post 9/11 day and age, that's a death sentence right there. Well, maybe not. I don't think they'll actually shoot you out of the sky because that might cause more collateral damage. But still, you don't want to do that because that'll end your career really quick. So I got to flying the river approach so many times doing the virtual airline, just doing my own flights, because on top of being the CEO, I also had to make sure I was an example for all these kids in the VA by making sure that I flew my regular flights in my Airbus and my Boeing, whichever it was that I decided I wanted to fly today. And the river visual, that one, as well as the expressway visual into New York LaGuardia, those were very popular ones for me. Alright, we're going to do some more Tom Cruise action here. So I'm kicking in the hard right rudder, get the nose down. Kids, don't try this in a real Cessna. I'm just telling you that from right now. Alright, we are a bit low on airspeed, which is fine by me. So I'm going to drop flaps 1. And we'll also drop our gear while we're at it. Okay, here's where the fun starts, as Anakin Skywalker would say. Alright, so we are about 4.6 miles out. We're going to need to come down the river because I'm pretty sure this airstrip is not that high up. So we're still descending. I'm pulling the power all the way back because we're actually over the flap speed, which is not good. Trim us up here. That'll drop some power. So we are at 3,600 feet. Okay, I'm going to drop another notch of flaps. Flaps 2 should be fine. We might have to pull flaps 3, but right now I'm back in that mode where I want to make sure my airspeed indicator is right on that blue line there. So we'll start pulling the power back in as we come down. You can see we're descending really rapidly, 1,200 feet per minute to be precise. And I got to remember that dog leg because that could be a problem. That could be a big problem. Orbx, why are you trying to kill me? I thought we were friends. How many years has it been that I've been making Orbx preview and review videos for you? Since the John Venema days, the early days. And now you're trying to kill me. Why? I'm just kidding. Thank you so much, Orbx. I love stuff like this. I really appreciate when you give me preview copies and so on of stuff like this, because this is the stuff that I really like to fly. I won't ever showcase your big airports, but I will showcase stuff like this. Alright, now, where's my airport? Any of you guys see an airstrip around here anywhere? Yogi? Help me out here, buddy. Yogi's just waiting for me to crash. Here comes dinner. Can't wait for this fool to crash. Alright, let's get that power up because our speed's going down a bit. Alright, yeah. Would be nice if we had an airport, right? I'm gonna go to the outside view because it's gonna come up rapidly here. I'm pretty sure we're at about 1 mile out. I have a funny feeling it's coming up. I just have this feeling in my bones that it is coming up really, really soon. So I'm trying to get as low as I can without falling out of the sky. Is that it? That is it. That is it. Okay, let's bring this thing in. Flaps 3. Oh boy. Oh boy. Flare. Ooh, we're down. Brakes. All the brakes. All the brakes. Holy crap, we made it. And look at that eagle. Even the eagles are trying to kill me. You were trying to bird strike me, sucker. I see you. And look at this guy. Look at this guy. Just sitting there, pleased as punch with himself. Like, dude, man, it's easy. You can make it in here. That was not easy, sir. That was not easy. I'm going to need new underwear and a beer. Holy crap. Orbx, you done did it. I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, we're good to go. Let's clean up. And we'll go ahead and turn everything down. So fuel pump, thank you for your service. I appreciate it. I'll go ahead and turn you off. We got the window open. I'm going to leave the avionics switch on. All right, there we go. Can you hear that? That's the best part. The sounds of nature. That is probably the biggest selling point for this scenery right there. All right, let me get the rest of the lights off and then I will do my goodbyes. So, just to remind you, the aircraft that we have been flying in today is my personal favorite GA aircraft, the Carenado Cessna 337 Skymaster. The livery, of course, is a custom one that I got off of FlightSim.to. It is the Calico Jack livery. I will see if I can find a link for that and put that in the video description for you below, along with the link to the Carenado bird. And the airport, or in this case, airstrip pack, that I've been showcasing for you has been by Orbx. And this is the Idaho Not So Deadly 3. And as we can personally attest, it might not be so deadly, but it sure as heck is a challenge. And I greatly, greatly appreciate Orbx for releasing this scenery package. This is the kind of stuff that I enjoy. I can't wait to see what else they're going to come out with that's along these lines. I may try the Deadly one that came out before this particular pack, just to compare it. I'm probably not going to use the Cessna Skymaster to get in there, however, because that's just craziness. But yeah, it's just awesome. I love this. I absolutely love this. Wow. So yeah, I don't know about you folks, but I'm just going to sit here. I'm literally just going to sit here. As the sun is getting ready to set, we're going to check out the scenery. Bambi's still over there mocking me. Like, what kind of landing was that, buddy? Do you even know how to fly? See, this is why I don't have a private pilot's license, folks, because doing crazy stuff like this would be par for the course for me. But in any event, I thank you again for watching. This has been BelGeode. I have been flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And if you enjoy what you've seen, please feel free to give me a like. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. All of this has been in VR, which to me is just the best way to fly. Why? Because I can set myself at this height and it's just like I am sitting cross-legged on the ground, checking out the scenery. All right, folks. I'll catch you all really soon. Ciao.